Hey guys, check 1 2 3. Check 1 2 3. Guys, I'm coming into you right now. This is going to be a good video. If you guys haven't already seen, there is a Spider-Man Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. Man, I'm so used to saying Homecoming. It's like it's even in part of the name for the new movie. But Spider-Man Far From Home, the sequel to Spider-Man Homecoming, is it's got a new trailer, and man, am I super excited for it. I just absolutely cannot wait. You guys, if you haven't seen the trailer, I'm going to go through a quick breakdown. This probably isn't going to be for any of you guys who haven't seen the trailer at first. I would recommend go watch it and then come back to me, because I'm going to be getting into some really cool discussion about the trailer as we go through the trailer. I'm going to pause it, I'm going to stop, and I'm going to talk, and I'm going to stop, and I'm going to talk about it. And that's how it's going to kind of go down. So anyway, thank you guys for joining in. This is going to be fun. So let's get right down to it. Hey guys, welcome back to the Stuff of Legend. My name is D'Lo. We've got ourselves a trailer breakdown video for you right now. So I hope that you guys are ready for this. This is going to be fun. I lost my head when I first saw this trailer, right? So this isn't my first time seeing it. I've seen it. I saw it a billion times. But I'm super pumped to talk with you guys about this trailer. I've been telling everybody about the trailer. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to skip right over. We'll jump right in because I've got a lot to say about this. I'm really excited. Let's go. So I'm going to cut right over. You guys can see this, and you should be able to hear this this clip as I go. So just bear with me as we go through this. I'm going to get into it right now. And again, there will probably be, like, I had some people telling me there's spoilers for, Avengers 4, or there's spoilers for Endgame. There really isn't. Okay, so there's a couple of things that we already knew were going to happen. Just the fact that this movie is coming out with Tom Holland's Spider-Man shows you something about what must take place in Avengers Endgame, being that Spider-Man comes back from the dusting. Boom. And if you didn't already know that by the fact that he's back after Endgame comes out, I can't help you. So we're going to just jump right into this. There really isn't any spoilers, but let's just go ahead. If you have already seen the trailer, this is for you. If you haven't, click the link down below so you can watch that trailer. This is your last warning. And let's go ahead and get into this trailer. Ready? Go. Woo!
Thank you, Spider-Man.
Okay, first off, I just want to say, like, I love this Spider-Man. I love the way that he looks. I love the action, him swinging hard in. I'm not going to harp too much on that, but you can see him here at a homeless outreach. This is kind of something that they did in the PS4 Spider-Man game. They were at the homeless shelter, and he was helping out there with Aunt May. But here we see Spider-Man in suit showing up here. So let's continue.
That was so good. Hey, sorry I'm late.
So you see this. This is pretty interesting. Happy Hogan shows up with a check from what's called Synchrony for $500 million, which is pretty impressive. That's a massive check. He's obviously here. That I don't know if it's specifically like Stark Tech, or if this is an evolution of the company or a branch of the company. Maybe Synchrony's the bank. Let's find out.
Happy. You look nice.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. New dress?
Yes, it is. How'd you know?
What just happened?
So I love this part because it's reminiscent of when Tony in Civil War, and then also again back in Homecoming, he was hitting on Aunt May, because obviously in this edition of Spider-Man, she's younger, she's beautiful. Marissa Tomei, I think that's her name. She plays a very young and beautiful Aunt May, which is a hilarious take because we get to see people like Happy Hogan, people like Tony Stark kind of flirt with her in that way. And it's just really funny because obviously Happy Hogan's been keeping tabs on Peter, and he's been probably spying on him as well with the Stark tech and whatever other kind of tech he's playing with here. But he has also been kind of spying on Marissa Tomei's Aunt May, and that's hilarious. And so this is kind of where he outs her. He's like, "Oh, it's the new dress." She's like, "Yeah, what is? How'd you know?" Outed. Let's keep going. I love the comedy in this new Spider-Man.
Planning a trip?
Mm-hmm. Going to Europe. It's a school trip.
School trip.
Did you get your passport?
Peter Parker here to pick up a passport, please.
Mini toothpaste?
Mm-hmm.
Pack your suit.
Wait a minute. Hang on. Let's just go back here.
Did you get your passport?
Peter Parker here to pick up a passport, please.
Peter Parker here to pick up a passport, please. That is a tongue twister. This one's just kind of fun. You get to see like all of his little credentials and everything. Obviously, you know, male, Parker, Peter, United States of America. August 10th. That's interesting. Not my birthday, but still. Place of birth, New York. You know, they got everything down to the wire. It's like everything is legit. Everything is the way that it ought to be. I love comic book accuracy. That's my jam.
Mini toothpaste?
Mm-hmm.
Pack your suit.
I just want to go on my trip with my friends. Europe doesn't really need a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
BFP. That right there when it showed BFP, that's Ben Parker. Obviously, he's packing in his uncle's suitcase. So that's kind of nice. That's a nice little touch right there. On his way to Europe.
You look really pretty.
Therefore, I have value.
No, that's not
I'm
right.
messing with you.
This right here, he looks like Tobey Maguire right here. I love this little smirk. I'm gonna go back and play this for you. Check this out. Look at his like mannerisms and the way that he responds awkwardly to MJ. Right here, this is just it's so reminiscent of the Tobey Maguire kind of like awkwardness. Check this out.
I'm messing with you. You look pretty too.
I just want to spend some time with MJ. I think she really likes me, dude.
That reminds me when I first fell in love. I had just finished my food copy.
Ooh.
So nice to finally meet you, Spider-Man.
Boom! It's Sam Jackson. He's back. We got Nick Fury back in Spider-Man. Now, this is pretty sweet because for those of you guys who saw Ant-Man and the Wasp, you already know. If you guys didn't see Ant-Man and the Wasp and you didn't stay till the after credits, you missed it. But Nick Fury is one of the individuals who got dusted, as well as Maria Hill. They got dusted during the Infinity War snap. Now, that's critical because some people are like, there's spoilers for Endgame, kind of, but no more than we already knew for Spider-Man coming back means he has to get undusted. This ties in very nicely with some of the theories that I've done with like the mutants joining the MCU. I just did a video on that. It's getting a lot of buzz right now. You might want to check that out if you guys are interested in how Marvel's going to be able to explain the Fox properties joining the MCU, because I think it's kind of critical to start to think about how that could happen. If you like to have fun with theories, this might be for you. If not, whatever, but I talked about it. And obviously we know that certain characters, maybe not all the characters, but at least some of these characters, Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, they're getting sequels after Endgame, which means they have to come back from the snap. And Nick Fury and Maria Hill obviously have to come back from the snap if they're shown in this trailer. So let's take a look.
You're Nick Fury.
Put some clothes on. Let's go for a ride.
Is he gonna be okay like that?
Might want to turn him over so he doesn't swallow his tongue.
I think Nick Fury just hijacked
man.
our summer vacation.
Woo!
Awesome.
Dude, okay, hold up. That was a lot to take in right there. So obviously we see that Spider-Man is, he didn't want to go, right? He didn't want to go to Europe as Spider-Man. He wanted to go just as Peter Parker. And this could be because of some trauma from, the events that happened in Infinity War, the snap, the undusting, however he comes back from that, he must be probably traumatized and just like, I'm putting it away. No more. That's too dangerous. It's too much. There's too much at stake. I just want to have a normal life. And he was already feeling that before that happened, but he was compelled to do the right thing and be a hero. And so now he must be wavering back and forth after the snap. Now, this shot is interesting, but even going back a little bit really quick, I just want to go back to like here where he's about to, boom, this giant leap right here over towards the bridge. and there's some giant like thing occurring right there, either fire. I'm gonna get into what I think that is in just a second. But take a look at this. Take a look at that. So that shot, he's got the wingsuit, baby. Just like the comics. I'm so happy they went with the wingsuit and gave him some gliding ability, some gliding action. That is what I'm talking about. I'm still waiting for, like, you know, I mean, The Dark Knight kind of did this a little bit, but I'm still waiting to, like, really see a Batman film where he gets to use his grappler to basically zip into the air and just glide, kind of like the Arkham games. That's what I want to see. But here, we're getting to see that with Spider-Man in the wingsuit, which is super sick. He's like flying squirreling over here. So it's super cool. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. Again, this, like, to go back to the suit, it's different. It's not the same one that he had before. The previous one was black, or was blue and red. It was a normal Spider-Man suit, the Homecoming suit. However, this one was black. It's a new suit, a different kind of suit, and I think that he's either going to have to make that himself or adapt that from another suit we're going to see very shortly. Or, you know, perhaps Nick Fury is the one that's supplying him with all this gear, because clearly from the beginning of the trailer, he left his suit at home. So I think that Nick Fury is going to supply him with new Spidey suits, and that's why we're seeing a bunch of different suits here. Anyway, this giant thing right here, that is, I'm almost 100% positive we're looking at Sandman right there. It just makes sense. It doesn't necessarily have to be, but it's a major Spider-Man villain. I think it's probably, and the whole theme of this one is elementals. So I think we're looking at a big Sandman right here. And so let's keep going. I'm gonna just keep moving. Oh, and by the way, that's Maria Hill next to Nick Fury. So let's keep moving.
You got gifts, Parker, but you have a job to do.
So take a look at that. Bunch of lightning and fire and all kinds of stuff right over the river. I think this is going to be where, like, the main battle is going to take place, and I think there's probably a number of different things happening in this scene at once. I'm going to guess that, like, because the water's stirring so much, it's probably not just because of the action in the air and the wind. It's probably because Hydro Man is in there stirring things up. I think that we're probably seeing I think that that's going to be a little bit of Electro up there. That's my best guess, but let's keep moving.
Are you going to step up or not? You're all alone.
Wait a minute. Go back. Did you see that? Hold up. This looks like a bunch of metal and fire. And look at that, kind of looks like a head shape. Yeah, that's a body. You see that? So this has got to be Molten Man. I'm pretty sure that we're looking at Molten Man right here. A villain in the comics who's basically, you know, have Hydro Man, who is a human who gets overexposed to a chemical compound or whatever, and then experiment goes wrong. And then he falls into water and merges with the water. His biochemistry mixes with Hydro, and then he becomes Hydro Man, capable of becoming and manipulating water. Sandman, same thing, except he can become sand and manipulate sand as well. Can grow and, you know, change his density as well. And I think that's what we were seeing before. This is Molten Man, very similar, but he becomes like molten hot, like metal alloy and fire, like just lava, magma. This guy is absolutely on fire, but he's also metallic. That's why they call him Molten Man. But I think we're getting our first look right here at Molten Man. So let's just keep rolling.
You're all alone. Your friends are in trouble.
Woo! Look at that. That is so clean. I love it. So this stealth suit right here is very reminiscent of the Spider-Man Noir suit. It looks more like that than it does like the black and green Spider-Man stealth suit that you probably have seen in like either I think it was in a couple comics, but it was mostly, like, most people know it from either the Funko Pop, which was released a while ago, or also in the Spider-Man PlayStation 4 game. You can unlock that suit. You can also unlock Spider-Man Noir. This kind of looks like a hybrid. But I would be willing to bet that this right here is the suit that he's given by S.H.I.E.L.D. Because he's rolling up here with S.H.I.E.L.D. You can see all the Audis in the background. And those Audis, you know, I think that's Nick Fury and Maria Hill climbing out of that vehicle. So it just makes sense that would be him showing up with S.H.I.E.L.D. to the scene of a crime, potential crime investigation to fight a bad guy, something like that. Or maybe he's just doing some recon and then they show up and they're like, don't get involved. We don't want you to get hurt. Let us handle it. And he's like, no, I can help, you know, and that kind of stuff. I would be willing to bet that's what's happening here. But dang, if I don't love that suit. That suit is so good. Jeez, man, look at that thing. It looks so cool. I wish I had that thing. All right, let's keep rolling. Yep. That would be Hydro Man.
What are you gonna do about it?
Look how sick that pose is. I lose my head whenever I watch these trailers for Spider-Man. I love I know you love Spider-Man too. That's why I clicked into this video. But man, I'm just losing it. Let me rewind this because I feel like all this stopping is just ruining it for you guys. I know this isn't your first time watching this. Otherwise, I'm sorry. But for this breakdown, let me just go ahead and just rewind it a little bit for you.
Are you going to step up or not?
Woo!
You're all alone. Your friends are in trouble?
Dude.
What are you gonna do about it?
Oh. Yes.
You don't want any part of this.
Yes. Oh. Dude, they got the fishbowl. Oh.
Who is that guy?
He's like Iron Man and Thor rolled into one.
He's no Spider-Man.
What is it with you and Spider-Man?
What? He looks out for the neighborhood, has a dope suit, and I really respect him. Sup, dickwad?
What's up, bleep wad? Okay, so let me go back here to the part where the Mysterio reveal. Okay, I know we just skimmed through a bunch of that, but it's such a good climactic part of the trailer that I had to just let it ride. Man, oh, dude. Let's just. I want to go through this. First of all, Jake Gyllenhaal is one of my favorite actors of all time. Second of all, I think that he's a perfect choice to play the thespian, the actor within the actor that is Quentin Beck. I think that it's going to be a fantastic performance, but also I think it's going to make for a really compelling villain. And he's gonna be able to play the eccentric. He's gonna be able to play like the bitterly angry deep down and be able to mask that on the outside. He's really good at like subtle acting, like subtle facial expressions along with like tone and stuff. He's a master actor, and I think that this is gonna be a really great role for him. But also, I'm super stoked about the costume. Let's go back and take a look. Oh my gosh. Did you see that?
I don't want any part.
Look at his freaking suit. Look how cool that looks. And by the way, they even put the eyes on the chest pieces that hold the cape. He looks fantastic. This is one way, like I know a lot of people were really skeptical about doing the costume comic book accurate. People were thinking they were going to like change it up just like the way that they did Vulture, right? With Michael Keaton. And I think that with Michael Keaton's Vulture, it was a really good rendition, really good take. I really enjoy it. It's actually one of my favorite Funko Pops that I have because I love the costume that they gave him so much. As a contrast to the classic version of the costume where it was like the spandex suit with the feathers and then the ruffles around the neck to make him look like a vulture. I really enjoy this classic take on the Mysterio costume, especially that they had the balls to go for the full fishbowl head. I was like, dude, please do the classic costume. It can work in live action, trust me. And there was a lot of people like, there's no way it could work. I talked to so many people, and there was a lot of people that were very skeptical about that. But take a look now. Let's keep going. Oh my gosh! Dude, do you guys see it? It looks so good. Oh my goodness. I am just dying here. Now, one of the things I wanted to point out was that you know, he's gliding around, he's fighting the villains. So I'm gonna get back more into the discussion instead of the geek out, okay? So let's get back to business. With Mysterio here, some of you guys may not be familiar with his comic book character. And, you know, I'm going to get into this might be some spoilery territory here for you. So if you aren't into that, you might want to like tune out a little bit. All right. I'm going to try not to go too deep, but he was someone that was working in show business as a very talented, but also lazy special effects artist. And so he ended up doing a poor job with some fire and pyrotechnics, and he almost killed an actress, and he gets run out of the business and discredited completely. So out of spite and vengeance, he tries to make himself out to be a hero that people could appreciate by faking all these robberies and stuff. He sets up these very public spectacle scenarios, and then it's all illusion though. It's all tricks and like cameras and projectors and all kinds of facade, right? And he even hires people, but he's not really a hero. It's kind of like Syndrome in The Incredibles. He actually just acts like someone who is a hero. He sets up like a criminal act, like robbing a bank, and then he comes in and saves the day in front of everybody in broad daylight. And so people then are like, oh my gosh, who's this new hero? He's so awesome. He's so great. And he's actually the guy making all these bad things happen so that he can look good when he saves them from that thing. So in that case, it's like he's still the bad guy. And then Spider-Man ends up having to uncover like what's going on. So it could be that these elemental creatures aren't actually bad guys, but they could be setups that Mysterio has going on as just like this farce to put on a show, or maybe they work for him and he's, you know, orchestrating this whole event where they're going to end up robbing banks and taking cuts out of these events where maybe they rob a bank and then they get away. You know, Mysterio's holding them back and stopping them. He gets public praise, and then their whole like operation is just making them money off the top as these events transpire. This could be the case. I'm not entirely sure. Honestly, I don't care if that's a story. I'm pretty sure I'm going to enjoy this movie one way or another, but at least if it's as good as the trailer. But I'm really excited, and I do think that based on the amount of villains that was in Homecoming, that Marvel and Sony aren't shying away from adding like 4 or 5 villains into the mix for this second movie, because I mean, you know, in Homecoming we had not only Vulture, but we had the Tinkerer. You know, we had Shocker, and we had the second version of Shocker. We had Scorpion. There was a lot of villains that were in the film, and a number of them that were like kind of alluded to. Like there was kind of like Easter eggs and stuff dropped in to kind of point you towards other villains. But there was a lot going on in Homecoming. I would be willing to bet there's going to be a lot going on in this film as well. So it would be no shock to me if the elementals were just some sort of illusion, but I don't think that's the case. I think the real case is that it's all a farce, and he's working with Hydro Man, he's working with Sandman, and he's working with Molten Man. And I think that given that there was a lot of lightning in these events, it's possible those were either illusions drawn out by Mysterio, or Electro is probably in this film as well. And Electro is, I think, you know, in my opinion, the most powerful of all of the elemental bad guys Spider-Man has ever faced. And so it would make sense if Electro was like the top dog, and then Sandman, Molten Man, Hydro Man were like these underlings along with Electro, and all of them are kind of posing as these bad guys all over Europe that Mysterio has to go and save the day, and Spider-Man and Nick Fury and Maria Hill just aren't buying it, and they're going to go put a stop to this entire charade. Or charade, whatever. So I think that's probably what's happening here. So anyway, let me just go ahead and play the rest of this, and then we can talk about the dialogue at the end. Yeah.
Who is that guy?
He's like Iron Man and Thor rolled into one.
They're saying that because of the costume. So he's all like armored up. He's flying around and stuff, but he's got that like wicked cool, like medieval looking cape. And he's like blasting from his hand. So that's why they're kind of doing that. He's Iron Man. And, you know, that's like what we would be doing. We would be speculating like this. But I love this dialogue at the end. Honestly, and I've said this many times on my channel, I love pretty much everything about Spider-Man Homecoming except for Flash Thompson. Except in this trailer, they brought on a lot more charm with this actor, this character. So based on this trailer, I'm already starting to like this Flash Thompson a lot more, and it would be really cool to see him get a chance to do Agent Venom down the road. But let's play it on and see what he has to say about Spider-Man, and then back to Peter Parker.
He's no Spider-Man.
What is it with you and Spider-Man?
What? He looks out for the neighborhood, has a dope suit, and I really respect him. Sub.
I'm gonna cut that because I forgot to like screen that at the end, but he calls him a D-wad, which is hilarious because he's talking about how much he loves and respects Spider-Man for being the good guy and standing up for the little guy and all that stuff. He's got a dope suit. You know, he watches out for the neighborhood, and I really respect him. What's up, D-wad? To Peter Parker. And the sweet irony, you guys all get it. It's not that complex, but man, this is like, it's really funny. I'm really enjoying the humor here. July 5th cannot come soon enough. I am so freaking excited. Let me cut back over to my main page here. That way we can just talk face to face now. Wow, that was really cool. I'm really excited. Specifically, I mean, I love the Elementals. I love what they're bringing in, Nick Fury and Maria Hill. I mean, most of us are already aware that they're going to have to undust at least a selective number of the characters that got dusted in Infinity War. So it's not that big of a surprise, and it certainly is no spoiler that you get to see Nick Fury and Spider-Man in the trailer of a Spider-Man film. But it's also highly reminiscent of the many times that Nick Fury served as a mentor figure to Spider-Man. In Homecoming, we had Iron Man be that role. Now that, you know, Iron Man is possibly dead, possibly just somewhere else, possibly back, but on hiatus. Maybe he wants nothing to do with anything heroic whatsoever. He's totally pulled himself back. Maybe him and Pepper are having a kid, you know, Morgan. That could be the case, and maybe he's just totally retired at this point. And then Nick Fury steps in because now they're having to get much more involved since probably a lot of the original majority of the Avengers are in retirement now. So that would probably be a good way to phase that out. Like maybe they make an ultimate sacrifice, but they somehow get to live, somehow get to get spared, and they just like, you know what? I'm hanging it up. It's time for family. And then they end up, you know, moving on with their lives. That would be pretty sweet. I would enjoy that. But as for this movie, I am so flipping pumped. I cannot wait. July 5th it just can't come soon enough. Are you guys excited for this movie? Did you guys like the trailer? What was your favorite part? And do you think that my speculations are good, are accurate, valid? Did you share them? Did you feel totally different? I want to hear what you have to say. Did I miss anything in the trailer? I know that there was a couple of things with like the license plates of the different vehicles referencing back to the comics. I had seen some of that online, but I didn't want to get into that because that's not really something that I had personally observed. So I didn't want to go there. But let me know down below. I can't wait to have this discussion with you guys. I'm pumped out of my mind. Captain Marvel's coming up. Also, Avengers Endgame, which is going to be absolutely nuts. And we'll probably be getting the trailers, like more trailers and more to come very, very soon because it's just a couple months away. It's just a few months away now. So thanks, guys. I really appreciate you guys being here with me during this live stream. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and I'd love to answer those for you. Make sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed it, share it with a friend, and also please subscribe if you have not already. And then if you guys want to be part of these live streams, make sure to click the notification bell next to the subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way you can be alerted when I go live next time, and then we can communicate back and forth in the comments. I could be answering your questions, taking your suggestions. We could talk about these things, and you get to be part of my next video. So make sure you turn on notifications to be notified right away when I go live next time. Thanks, guys. You're the best. Stay tuned for more right here on The Stuff of Legend.